with your hosts, Andrew Romanella.
I don't think I'm good enough in this spot based on my own personal mental health, so I can't continue. The first problem is with the owner of the Carolina Panthers, okay? You're an idiot. Seriously, you're an idiot. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of The Rome Show in the morning on 12ozsports.com, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, live. I am Andrew Romanella. We take you all the way through roughly 7:30 in the morning. We come to you 5 days a week, and we remind you The Rome Show 1 on Instagram and Twitter, or Coach Romo 24. Ladies and gentlemen, we got a great show for you today. And before we get into any of it, I just have to remind you that 12ouncesports.com has the Snowfest giveaway going on right now. That's right, the Snowfest giveaway. So here's what you got to do, all right? You want to enter the contest any of three ways for the drawing that's going to happen on Super Bowl Sunday. According to Mr. Beck, we have some people entered into the contest. That's very exciting news, but we want more. So grab a pen, grab some paper, and here's how you enter the Snowfest contest. You go to tickets.12ozsports.com. When you type in 12ozsports, that's the number 12ozsports.com. Tickets.12ozsports.com. Use the promo code ROME. When you go to checkout, you're going to get the chance to use a promo code ROME. It's on page number 2, ROME, and you will get a discount off on those tickets, and you will enter the Snowfest contest. Opportunity number 2, you're going to either head to 12ozsports.com or wideworldshop.com. That's right, wideworldshop.com. That's where you're going to get all your Be Electric gear. That is the sponsor of the Rome Show podcast, which is what you listen to when you don't get the live show, wherever you listen to your podcast, wideworldshop.com or 12ozsports.com, and you're going to buy some apparel. And when you buy that apparel, can you tag us on Instagram, please, or Twitter or Facebook or whatever, so we can also repost you and put you in the Snowfest contest. And then opportunity number 3 is mybookie.net. Head to mybookie.net, use the promo code 12ozsports. You see a common theme here? Remember the name 12OZ Sports. After you put the promo code in MyBookie, go ahead and deposit some moolah. Go ahead and put something down on the banana line, and then maybe send us an email so we know it's official. And then you're entered into the Snowfest contest. So many ways to enter and a lot of opportunities to win. If you need any more information, head to the website, or if you go to YouTube, the 12-Ounce Sports YouTube, our fearless leader did a video the other day speaking about it. Only 9 minutes, super easy stuff to listen to, and you'll get all the information you need. Okay, let's start this show off by going around Wide World. All right, and to start it off, just so everybody is aware, okay, we've been talking about this, all the NFL has been talking about this for a while. Jim Harbaugh is officially no longer with the Michigan Wolverines. Yes, I know, it has finally happened. Something that we have been hearing about for what to me feels like the last 4 years, because I believe the conversation about Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL started a little ways back after he had lost, I think what now, and I believe it was the 2020 season, was his last losing game against Ohio State. Now, for those of you that might not realize it, I'm sure a lot do that are fans of this show because they're probably also college football fans. But, you know, for Ohio State and Michigan, I truly do believe sometimes you are not necessarily defined by if you won a Big Ten championship or if you won or went to the college football playoffs. Sometimes I believe in that rivalry, you are defined by how are you performing against Ohio State. And the fact of the matter was, when Jim Harbaugh took over Michigan, besides them not being on the national prominence level that they were for a long time, not really competing for natties, not really getting the best players in the country, a little bit of a coaching carousel for a while, and getting slaughtered by Ohio State. And Urban Meyer at the time was at Ohio State, and it was just a slot fest. And then Urban Meyer retired, and it was a crossover. Harbaugh was there, but, it was 2-3 years in, nothing crazy. Gives over the job today. And the first thing you think, if you're a Michigan fan, is, maybe Harbaugh has a chance to beat Ohio State. Well, immediately he didn't. And when that happened, I believe that's when people either A, started saying he should be fired from Michigan, or B, were like, oh, he's going to go to the NFL. Because I think all of us have realized, and at the end of the day, no matter what you think of, what the allegations were this year at Michigan, or anything else that you might think of in terms of Jim Harbaugh as a human or a football coach or whatever, numbers don't lie. And Jim Harbaugh, numbers, has been a great coach everywhere he has gone. This is now, I believe, his 4th stop, okay? 2 in the NFL, 2 in college. I mean, hey, guys, when was the last time Stanford football was good? Yeah, I said that. Stanford football. Well, the last time Stanford football was good, Jim Harbaugh was the head ball coach. So I just think that gives you a really good perspective on Jim Harbaugh and how good he really is. Yeah, he might come with some skeletons in the closet. There might be a little baggage there. He's a strange dude. But at the end of the day, if you want your football team to win, Jim Harbaugh is a great hire. And right now, the Los Angeles Chargers, I think, feel really good about the Jim Harbaugh hire, and less about Michigan and more about Jim Harbaugh taking advantage of probably the last opportunity he's going to have to do this. We've had a little bit of a conversation all year about, coaching, how long it lasts, what's your leeway. When we talked about Pete Carroll and Bill Belichick and Saban's, like, how long do you coach for? Harbaughs are coachers. John Harbaugh with the Ravens for a long time, and Jim. I can't see them doing much else. I don't even know them from Adam. I'm just telling you what I've seen the last 15 years. I've known anything about these people and have covered any type of sports. So coaching is in their DNA, but you only get so many chances in the National Football League. That's a fact, right? I think the general rule of thumb is 2. Like, you get 2 coaching opportunities in the National Football League, and you're bad. It doesn't even matter if you're bad. Just they end not necessarily with you leaving on your own terms or a championship or a retirement, right? Okay? It's probably the end of the line for you, okay? You can't really think back to bad coaches or coaches that didn't win a championship or really weren't that great, okay, i.e. Pete Carroll, that had more than 2 opportunities. Pete Carroll had the New England Patriots opportunity, had the Seattle Seahawks opportunity. If you think about Bill Belichick, his first opportunity was the Cleveland Browns. His second opportunity was the New England Patriots. If he is very bad with New England, I bet he doesn't get that. I bet he doesn't get a 3rd job, okay, like he's trying to now after 24 years of possibly the best run in football history. Here's a good one. How about Josh McDaniels? Sorry. Hit my mute button. I bet Josh McDaniels never gets a coaching job again. First, it's almost like Josh McDaniels has had 3 opportunities, right? The Denver Broncos, the Las Vegas Raiders, and then that situation with the Detroit Lions a bunch of years back. And a side note, by the way, since the Lions are in the postseason, and we will spend Football Friday tomorrow speaking about the Lions and those playoff games big time. But think about that for a quick second, man. I mean, Josh McDaniels was the head coach of the Lions for what felt like a day or 2, was going in and working on hiring assistants. The only thing that really hadn't happened was pen to paper and a press conference. And what happens? Josh McDaniels backs out, goes back to the New England Patriots, okay? Well, 2 stories here. The Lions side of it, which is thank you, Josh McDaniels, for backing out of that and never coming to coach this football team again, because now look at where we are. And the second side of that is look now at Josh McDaniels, okay? So let's put him in the category I just talked about. 2 coaching opportunities before you really, as a head coach in the NFL, before you really are kind of like, okay, we're good on this guy. Well, Josh McDaniels is done. Like, I'm on the show right now, and that's fine. I'll hit the hot take button. Ooh, hot take. Josh McDaniels will never get a head coaching job again in the National Football League. That I will stamp all of it on there. I'll hit it again. It's not a hot take. I mean, it might be, but I don't think so, because that is really what it comes down to. I mean, if you have 2 opportunities to lead a ball club, and that covers 3 to 4 to 5 years in the National Football League, and it is bad, like Josh McDaniels, like the guy that was the head coach for the Dolphins and then the Jets, Adam Gase, right? I bet Adam Gase never steps in a head coaching role ever again. I'll take it a step further. If Dan Quinn gets hired as a head coach this year in this cycle, after having been fired by the Falcons after the first cycle and blowing the worst Super Bowl lead in the history of time because you have no idea how to run the football, Dan Quinn will never get a head coaching job again. That's just a fact. Like, just how it works. So at the end of the day, Jim Harbaugh is the cat with 9 lives on his 9th life. Right here. And it doesn't make any sense, kind of, because he's been so good if you look at the statistics, if you look at the records, if you look at the winning, and we'll go into that in a second. Jim Harbaugh has been fantastic. But the fact of the matter is, the way football operates is you got 2 chances at this. It's very few that get 3, and usually the ones that get 3 have some type of winning associated with them, right? A la Bill Parcells, right? Somebody that has won, a la Bill Belichick. Right? Those are the people that get the 3rd opportunity. Just so you have a little bit of backstory on this thing, did you know that Jim Harbaugh was a quarterback for the Los Angeles Chargers, then San Diego Chargers, in 1999 and 2000? So a little bit of history there. To finish up on this point, and we continue around the wide world, the total NCAA career record for Jim Harbaugh was 144 and 42. I mean, what? Over 102 games, over 500. That is freaking impressive, okay? So he has over 102 more wins than losses. My fault. I said that wrong, okay? 144 and 42. 144 and 42 in his NCAA career. 3 Big Ten titles and 1 national championship, and that includes his time at Stanford, okay? And just to finish that thought process, and I think we're kind of forgetting about this because and Michigan won the national championship this year. But there was some allegations, there was some suspensions, there was some things that happened with one of his assistants that, like, it just really makes you question stuff. I just think at the end of the day, he did something that no one could do since Lloyd Carr was at University of Michigan, and it was bring them to prominence, man. So he did that. He brought them to prominence. He brought them to the top. He did something, a program that was stagnant. He did something that on the NFL level, the Dallas Cowboys need, right? Yeah, they're always going to be relevant. They're Michigan, man. They're always going to be relevant, but are they going to be good? Can they compete? And he did that. So shout out to Jim Harbaugh. We continue around the wide world. Vic Fangio is out as the Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator now, okay? He's not out as in like, Vic, you suck, you're fired. It was a mutual parting of ways, according to all reports. Vic Fangio, who's an older gentleman, I don't know roughly how old, I think later 60s. Vic Fangio was in his first year as the defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. He is a native of Pennsylvania, so a lot are believing, English is hard sometimes. Vic Fangio is going to go back and maybe be the defensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, as we talked about on Wednesday or Tuesday, can't remember. Nick Sirianni officially letting go the demoted defensive coordinator from Week 13. Still makes no sense to me. Either way, Vic Fangio, possible DC coordinator candidate for the Eagles. I would say this. I don't think he's a bad coordinator at all. I thought he did a really good job with what he had this year because the Dolphins were a talented defense but had a lot of injuries. Now, every team in the National Football League has injuries. You deal with that every year, but the Dolphins just had some key injuries. By the time you were done, you had all 3 of your starting linebackers out, and you had 2 starting defensive linemen out. And it is really, really hard to win football games that way. And I thought the defense still did a really solid job down the stretch. Yeah, I know it didn't necessarily result in wins, but I think that for a team that's never necessarily had a great defense over the last recent history of time, I thought Vic Fangio did a real good job. I got this to say about Mike McDaniels, though. That's his 3rd defensive coordinator in 3 years. Now, I understand the circumstance, right? Okay? And a backstory on this is Fangio was a special assistant or advisor or something to Philadelphia Eagles during their 2023 Super Bowl run. in the playoffs, about 3-4 weeks of that. And the thought process was last year that the Eagles were going to hire him as the defensive coordinator, and then they hired the guy that ended up voting and firing, and then Fangio goes to Miami. So it could be one of those almost perfect storm scenarios where the Eagles were in desperate need of something. There's actually a defensive coordinator available, and I do believe in some stuff like that. Like late in your career, you got a chance to go home. I think that's an awesome vibe, and I can't imagine living in your native state, going to maybe I don't know. He's 60-something years old. He probably doesn't have favorite teams anymore. He's been in the NFL for 40 years, but at the end of the day, the team that was a veteran presence that locker room needs that can help mend the veteran issues that are going on. And if there are any issues going on, that set of eyes with that experience could really help. Vic Fangio out of Miami. Let's find out what the Dolphins do. The one thing I'll say, I hope Mike Vrabel does not get hired by anybody. And I hope that's who the Dolphins get as a defensive coordinator. We go around the wide world. Here it is. Okay. Doc Rivers, we talked about this yesterday, was hired as the Milwaukee Bucks head coach. That is right. Okay. Waiting to find the terms of that deal. When I was sitting down last night to do our show prep, I couldn't find the terms of that deal. But my thing is, I just couldn't imagine Doc Rivers being somebody that would not do this on a I don't know. Hey, we're going to hit the commercial break really quickly here. We'll be back with the rest of the Wide World on the Rome Show.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Yeah.
What is up, everybody? We are back here on The Rome Show, 12ozesports.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.